Our tail of the tape for this contracted weight. You can take a look, pro debut. That says everything. Both of these guys are going to go out there and put it all on the line.
With the official introductions, here is Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's good to be back, and it's good to see you here tonight with us live in Mohegan Sun Arena as we get set for the Bellator 264 prelims. We'll welcome those joining us live, streaming tonight's fights on YouTube at Showtime Sports and Bellator MMA as we kick off the evening now with 3 5-minute rounds at a contract weight of 195 pounds. Introducing first the blue corner at 6'3", weighing in 195 pounds even, making his professional debut. He fights out of Nashua, New Hampshire, presenting John McNeil. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 6 foot, weighing in 194 pounds tonight. He too makes his professional debut by way of Venezuela. He fights out of Bronx, New York, Orlando, the Silver Fox, Mendoza. And the referee in charge, Todd Anderson.
Both athletes receiving a nice round of applause, both with their supporters in attendance here, the early arrivers at the Mohegan Sun Arena. John McNeil wants to celebrate his 31st birthday early. Orlando Mendoza hoping to strike first, strike last, and strike most effectively. And instead, it's McNeil that opens the fight up with a striking attack, taking Mendoza down.
Very nice job of using pressure going forward, force Mendoza back. He's in a bad position already. That arm triangle is almost set in. He's just trying to get his leg free. If he can get that leg free and come to the side, he's going to be able to put a lot of pressure on that choke.
McNeil is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt, putting the squeeze on Mendoza early.
Even from the mount position, there's a lot of pressure here. Now he's able to get his arm free, so he's free from the choke, but now he's in mount. If you're in your pro debut and you're John McNeil, it doesn't get any better at the start of your career than this.
And if you're Orlando Mendoza, conversely, it doesn't get any worse.
That's exactly it.
And Mendoza looking to reverse, but McNeil staying strong in top position, drops an elbow. Mendoza desperately trying to neutralize the offense as McNeil appears to be setting up another arm triangle attempt.
He's searching for that arm triangle, but you got to make sure that you get it set right before he decides to make that move to the side. Mendoza being able to oopa his way out, changing that balance point, so McNeil had to let go.
Ground and pound from John McNeil as Mendoza trying to buck him off, trying to create a reversal. Instead, he gives up his back. So from the arm triangle, McNeil may try to go for a rear naked choke.
McNeil did a very nice job of getting his hips back down towards Mendoza's hips. That kept him in position because he was high.
And he's got his full hooks in now, looking to extend Mendoza's body. Under 3 minutes left in the first round. It's been all John McNeil following an early takedown.
It has definitely been all John McNeil. He just needs to settle down, take his time, figure out how am I going to get these arms in the position that I need around that neck.
And of course, with all of the jitters, the butterflies that come with making your pro debut, especially here under the bright lights of Bellator MMA, it's up to McNeil to display that patience, John, that composure, especially in a grounded position like this.
Absolutely. When this is what I'm talking about. When you first walked in, I said, look, this is an audition. What you're trying to do is show that man across the cage from us, Scott Coker, hey, I can fight, and I am someone you want to sign. That's what this is all about. Mendoza doing a nice job. At least he's keeping that knee shield up inside. Looking for the heel hook right now. Does not have it.
So two hungry athletes, despite Mendoza being on the receiving end of ground and pound and being on his back the majority of the time, still fishing for a submission as well.
fishing for speed. John McNeil needs to be very careful about keeping his head past his hips. His hips should be before his head so he does not get up kicked.
Mendoza representing the Bronx Combat Club, while McNeil trains a team KTA MMA and Karasu Tengu Academy. A minute and a half remains in the opening round.
He's got that arm triangle set again. Take a look at those strike stats right now. McNeil 14 of 35, 1 of 3 for Mendoza, and that's because it's hard to punch someone when you're on your back.
And the majority of those strikes help set up the takedown.
Absolutely.
Coming up on the final minute of the first frame, John McNeil continues to work from top position, drops some elbow strikes. Mendoza trying to defend, but unable to reverse his fortunes here under a minute left.
He's doing a good job of those. Most of these are not landing cleanly on him, so it's a good job overall by Mendoza.
All it takes is one.
Yeah, it does. And that one right there hurt. You can see where his hand came up to protect himself. Starting to turn his back again. He needs to be careful about giving that back.
30 seconds left in the first round. Ground and pound from John McNeil.
Mendoza needs to continue to move. Active hips will at least upset the balance of McNeil, just like you saw right there.
His hips were active, and now McNeil working from Mendoza's back. Hammer fist to the side of his head, to the ear. 10 seconds left. John McNeil's first round as a professional mixed martial artist couldn't really have gone any better.
Not at all.
Ready, fight!
The bell in round 2, Orlando Mendoza in the red gloves, John McNeil in the blue gloves. It's part of my contract, so I have to ask the question, how did you have it on your unofficial scorecard, the opening round?
That opening round is no doubt a 10-8 round for John McNeil, but what Mendoza needs to do now is say, okay, that round's gone. I survived it, so I'm happy with what I'm doing right now. Now let me get back to fighting my fights. Don't fight my opponents. If it is a stand-up game that he wants to fight, then keep this on the feet and start throwing punches and kicks to give McNeil a problem.
The southpaw McNeil putting some pressure on now, using a lazy left hand to set up the level change into another takedown.
Yeah, McNeil right now, he's just bulldogging Mendoza. He's just bigger, stronger, and he's able to, when he wants to, he comes into him and is able to just physically control the body, bring him down.
Inside bicep! Inside bicep, overhook there! Overhook, inside bicep, right!
Mendoza trying to use a half guard. He needs to get that far side underhook. You see him with an overhook on the forearm. That is not going to help him. He's got to change that. Now going back towards going to a full guard. He gets McNeil into full guard.
Yeah, McNeil trying to posture up while Mendoza hopes to neutralize his attack from bottom. McNeil has that left hand momentarily free, dropped a couple of shots before. Mendoza now trying desperately to just neutralize the attack, but he has to find a way to escape this predicament.
Well, you see him, he's got the overhook on the left side, and then he's trying to use that knee to control the left arm that McNeil's been using to try to drop hammers down on him. Mendoza's got to get in his mind, I cannot sit here and accept having my back on the canvas. If you're not throwing up submissions that can actually have effect and change this fight, you need to be thinking about getting yourself back to your feet.
Square back up, square back up, square back. There we go, baby. Keep that head on center. Follow his hips. Follow the kick, beautiful work.
You know, Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel from his back, but he didn't have John McNeil on top of him.
No one was punching him in the face. The Sistine Chapel would have looked a lot different if he was getting punched. McNeil's just...
Meanwhile, McNeil wants to turn in his own Michelangelo masterpiece in his professional debut, continues to control Mendoza, and yet he needs to also improve his position from top position and go back to what he had early success in that opening round, going for the arm triangle submission, but working from the close guard of Mendoza.
And what you say, exactly what you saw in the first round, he was trying to improve that position. He was switching from half guard, getting into full mount. All those things were great positions that he was attaining. This right now, he's starting to accept the guard. Now he's landing punches now and then, but this eventually could mean that the referee could come in and stand them up based upon you're not improving to a better position.
You know that Mendoza trying to telepathically send that message to the referee. Our referee, Todd Anderson.
90 seconds! 90 seconds!
Nice little chopping elbow forearm strike by McNeil. What McNeil really needs to do, though, you see his head down on the sternum area of Mendoza. That is when you've got no real power or anything. He's got to start to posture up and bring heavy shots down. That's what's going to make Mendoza have to move.
Final 60 seconds of the second. Mendoza now opens the guard, overhook over the right arm of the southpaw McNeil, but McNeil unable to get much on track in terms of offense from top position.
And when you're seeing Mendoza then close his guard again, he's the one that's actually holding on to McNeil, so he's not trying to get out of the position. He needs to open that guard, either go to a butterfly or go to something as far as an elevator or something to try to at least reverse the position or get his feet on the hips so he can get McNeil off.
Thus far in Mendoza's professional debut, the elevator's only gone down.
It's okay, there's another round.
One more round remains as we head into the home stretch. And McNeil wanting to become more offensively optimistic, but we're headed to the third and final round.
Number three. Ready, fight!
Third and final round. Who will emerge victorious in their professional debut? Will it be Orlando Mendoza in the red gloves or John McNeil in the blue gloves? How do you have it on your unofficial scorecard after 10 minutes?
Unofficially right now, I have this fight at 20-17, so I would say that Mendoza needs to finish John McNeil if he wants to get a win. Either that or have one incredible round.
That's the beauty of mixed martial arts. It's possible.
It is possible, but with what he's doing, it's not going to.
Likely not.
He needs to, attack. In listening to his corner's telling
right left and a right hand. Sorry, John, as McNeil landed with a scoring combination.
He did. His corner's telling him, you can't get taken down. That's great, but you're not telling him what to do not to get taken down.
And McNeil now beginning to pick apart Mendoza in the stand-up. Front kick with the breadbasket, the feint.
And at least right there, you saw Mendoza at least take the steps back. He's circling out. That at least says he's thinking about what he's doing. That's going to keep McNeil from being able to have that linear attack coming straight in.
And there's the level change, and yet another takedown for John McNeil.
McNeil's corner was very, very good in their instruction. One of the things they said, don't stay in his guard. I want you to pass to at least a half guard because he's going to be much more dominant in that position.
McNeil 3 for 3 in the takedown department.
Well, if you're McNeil and you wrote the script for your first fight, you couldn't have written much better than what's happening.
That's it, John. Beautiful work. Calm down. Calm down. Ready time. Ready time.
Heavy hips down, John McNeil getting on top. He's got the ability to do a lot of damage right here. He needs to not stop his attack.
Yeah, that's it. You're in the side control.
Under 3 minutes left here in the final round.
Beautiful work.
McNeil now working from side control, trying to land those left hands. Mendoza trying desperately to just Control posture, trying somehow to force a stand-up, but he is in dire straits here with McNeil in cross-eyed position.
Well, especially with cross-eyed, you see that underhook, that right arm underhook under the left arm of Mendoza. That's
right into mount.
That's keeping McNeil, and that's how he got the mount.
And now, midway point of the final round, McNeil dropping elbows from the top. Mendoza trying desperately to somehow get McNeil off his back.
Mendoza's in a lot of trouble here. Now he's spent a lot of energy already, and he's been beat on for 2 rounds. It is not the same as far as getting yourself out of these positions.
Coming up on the final 2 minutes of this fight, being contested at a contract weight of 195 pounds. And McNeil started the fight looking for the arm triangle, trying to finish the fight with an arm triangle.
He was searching for it again, but let go of it. He could feel that Mendoza was looking to bump and upset his balance points, so he decided, I'm just going to go back to mount. Let me start dropping hammers.
Some days you're the hammer, some days you're the nail, and in his professional debut, Orlando Mendoza spent a lot of it getting nailed to the canvas with the takedowns, and McNeil continuing to deliver offense, a slashing elbow across the face, John.
Yeah, that one hurt right there, and you could see Mendoza react to it. He's taking a lot of abuse right here. Referee Todd Anderson's not going to let him take much more.
Is referee Todd Anderson going to give John McNeil a memorable 31st birthday gift? He does! In his professional debut, John McNeil stops Orlando Mendoza in the final round. Happy 31st birthday on August 31st. What impressed you the most about the neophyte mixed martial artist?
You know, I'm impressed by both, and I know that sounds strange, but what you got to look and say, John McNeil did everything that he was supposed to do. Got great positioning, used good, smart, striking at the time when he's on the ground. Here's the big takedown. This was the one in the 3rd round. Look at the head. Needs to drive forward a little more. Gets him to the ground and then move to a better position like his corner told him. And then at the end, you can see, look at Mendoza has no way of stopping the attack. Now he's just becoming a punching bag. Nothing coming back. He's just trying to hide. And that's why referee Todd Anderson stops the fight.
Let's make it official now with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, referee Todd Anderson steps in, waves off the contest due to unanswered strikes. Official time, 3 minutes, 57 seconds into round number 3. The winner by TKO, John McNeil.
Let's go to Big John McCarthy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with John McNeil. John, if you were going to script the perfect pro debut, you couldn't have written a better script than what I just saw right there.
Yeah, that's sorry about that. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was hoping to do. Come out, use my jiu-jitsu. I knew my strikes could stand with them, but at the end of the day, I wanted to use my submissions. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, so that's what I did.
You kept hunting for that arm triangle. In the 1st round, you went for it a couple of times. You actually almost went to it again in the 3rd, and you decided, no, I'm not going to do it. Tell me what you were feeling and why you said it's not going to work.
I was a little high. Each time I got on it, it was a little high. I know the feeling, the sweet spot right when you're on it, and I wasn't on it, so went to something else.
You've got a birthday coming up. Going to be 31 years of age. Is this what you want to continue to do? Fight MMA in the Bellator cage?
I would love to continue to do this. A dream.
I want to wish you a big congratulations on a pro victory in your first fight. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, John McNeil.